Good afternoon and welcome to the Midday News. Here's what we have in the bulletin. Gregory Park, St. Catherine tense after 3 houses were firebombed Monday night. Hope fades for missing St. Thomas fishermen. And later in sports, under 15 reggae girls lose heavily again in Commonwealth Games. I'm Kalisha Williams and here are the details. The community of Gregory Park in St. Catherine remains under siege after 3 houses were firebombed Monday night. Head of the St. Catherine South Police, Senior Superintendent of Police Christopher Phillips, said the attack speaks to an ongoing dispute between criminal elements in the community for the past 3 weeks. He said in some instances the police have been challenged by the gunmen.
We are looking to have enhanced operational activities in that space, and it's so sad that at a time when we are celebrating our emancipation and independence, the residents within those communities are not able to celebrate in peace and safety because of the activities of criminals inside there.
Now, SSP Phillips indicated that the police are also pursuing several persons of interest.
As the police, we are committed to restoring law and order in the Gregory Park space, and as soon as we complete investigations on what is happening there, we're going to be publishing the names of those persons of interest.
No one was injured during the firebombing incident. Hope is fading and it appears time is running out as the search continues for 2 fishermen who went missing off the coast of the Yalas fishing beach in St. Thomas on Monday. As you hear in this report, there are urgent appeals for the Jamaica Defense Force Coast Guard to step in.
This is not a regular fishing trip, and these fishermen are not looking for their next catch. They are searching for their colleagues, 2 men who disappeared off the coast of the Yalas fishing beach around 7 o'clock Sunday morning.
We will search for them and we will find them 2 times possible. Search for them, we can't find them, so we're coming back.
And as the days go by, it appears some of the fishermen are losing hope. They said the men 36-year-old Imran Khan Lewis and 50-year-old Franklin Campbell were expected to return between 3 and 6 p.m. on Sunday.
I often see this on different locations right around Jamaica, and the result them most time no good. One, because right now, even us as fishermen, right now so we are going to look for them off our own. It's like we can't buy gas to go do that, because gas is too expensive.
We just hope and pray them alive. End up in some country where we can't find them. You see, so everybody goes out. Because the whole fishermen, when I see them come on back.
The Marine Police told TVJ News that officers carried out an extensive search off the coast of Yalas and White Horses on Monday, but they saw no sign of the men. However, the fishermen in the area believe the Jamaica Defense Force JDF Coast Guard should have been called to help.
We are fishermen, we're almost like nobody. Like most people in this country, when it comes to the government reputation, we don't know which part we stand. So I say, we are hawks, JDF, because I know say, I'm soon active on the sea, I'm soon dead. So I know if I put out the effort, I think we're going. So I ask you to put out the effort.
TVJ News was later informed that the JDF Coast Guard was contacted by the Marine Police and is expected to be a part of the search soon. In the meantime, the police are advising people to be on the lookout for the men or their vessel, a boat with the name Young Moore and registration number Y178.
Following another fish kill in the Rio Cobre on the weekend, there are renewed calls for the environmental permits of bauxite company Windalco to be suspended. O'Shane Masters reports.
The operations of Windalco are again under scrutiny after effluent from its Yorton plant polluted the Rio Cobre in St. Catherine and caused a fish kill. It has led to calls for all of Windalco's environmental permits to be suspended until it implements corrective measures to prevent further pollution of the river. Companies which engage in activities which could pollute the air, water, or land are required to obtain environmental permits. Founder of the Jamaica Environment Trust, JET, Diana Macaulay, who visited the Rio Cobre on Monday, described the chemical spill as devastating.
I spoke to people who, in various ways, make their living off the river, either entertainment or fishing, and they were just devastated by what has happened. I also saw another part of the river which was absolutely covered in water hyacinths, which is an indicator species of pollution, and many of those were dying. So, you're in trouble when a pollution indicator starts to die.
She says until Windalco constructs new holding ponds to manage effluent, its environmental permits should be withdrawn.
So I gather that they are in the process of constructing larger holding ponds and a treatment facility. I don't know. I've asked but haven't yet got an answer. I don't know what timeline that there is for finishing that. So I think the Environment Minister should revoke their permit or suspend their permit until these treatment facilities are built. Because without that, nothing is going to stop this happening from time to time.
It's reported that trade effluent at Windalco overflowed into waterways in the area following heavy rain on Friday. The spillage affected waterways in the vicinity of the Rio Cobre, Binloss, Vanity Fair, and the Charlemont Footbridge. O'Shane Masters, TVJ News.
In the meantime, Ms. Macaulay has raised concern about matters of an environmental nature going to the courts. She says that will only add to the backlog of cases.
If every pollution incident has to go to court in order for it to be dealt with, that is not a feasible situation. We have a regulatory framework that gives companies permits, environmental permits, that they are supposed to adhere to. And if they're not being adhered to, they should not be allowed to operate.
Now, 3 dates have been set for the continuation of the trial involving Windalco and the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, regarding the discharge of effluent into the Rio Cobre in St. Catherine 2 years ago. The prosecution's first witness is to continue giving evidence in the St. Catherine Parish Court on September 19. The matter will then continue on October 20 and 21. Vice Chairman of the St. Catherine Parish Development Committee, Kestonard Gordon, was unhappy with the schedule. He says the trial is being drawn out. The head of the Pan American Health Organization, PAHO, is promising Jamaicans that more local medical facilities will be able to withstand damage from hurricanes and storms thanks to climate-smart investments. The PAHO director made the assessment after being given a tour of a facility that the organization has partnered with the government to help transform. Javon Keys reports.
This tree planting exercise is just one of the many steps being taken to transform the Mandeville Health Center into a climate-smart facility. Over the last 3 months, changes have also been made to the facility's water and electricity infrastructure.
We have dedicated water storage for the fire hose reels, and that's in the form of a rainwater harvesting system. So we have 15,000 gallons of rainwater that's going to be stored at the facility to be used for firefighting as well as for flushing of toilets. So that alone helps to reduce our water consumption at the facility. In addition to that, we also replace water fixtures so that we would have low volume or low flow fixtures. We have installed a generator that gives you 100% backup power to the facility, plus fuel storage to give you a minimum of 3 days.
The engineer is a member of the Pan American Organization PAHO team that toured the facility in Manchester Friday. PAHO has been assisting the country in developing the climate-smart medical centers. Over 13 facilities have been retrofitted as part of the program in Jamaica.
We started this program in 2015, and the United Kingdom government at that time under DFID have funded PAHO to bring this program to fruition. But we recognize a few years after 2015 that we also had to make these facilities climate resilient, and we had to reduce our climate footprint.
The PAHO chief added that the Climate Smart approach at medical centers is a smart investment that works. Over 50 health facilities in 7 countries in the region have already benefited from the upgrades.
Certainly what we've seen across the countries where we have done this smarting of health facilities, their electricity bill and their water bill decreases significantly in St. Vincent by some 40%. So these facilities can make health centers more efficient and certainly to ensure the resilience so that they are available to treat patients when there is a disaster. We are sure that this facility will stand up to hurricane winds.
Work on the Mandeville Medical Center is expected to last another 6 months. Health Minister Dr. Christopher Tufton said the work is on schedule and within budget. Javon Keys, TVJ News.
It's now time for our first break. Stay with us. More stories when we return. Welcome back to the Midday News and thanks for staying with us. Deputy Commissioner of Police Fitz Bailey is calling for retired police officers to assist in the fight against crime. Speaking at the 21st installation of officers in Runaway Bay St. Anne recently, DSP Bailey said retired cops are equipped with experience and skills that could help to guide law enforcers.
Over time, you have owned some unique skills and acquired greater self-control, confidence, perseverance, a good attitude and a better altitude, and of course, a firm grasp on your moral compass, expected values and fundamentals, which must not be shelved but be used, as many of you are doing, to imbue others with needed confidence and to point us who are less experienced in the right direction.
He believes their contribution is critical in fixing some of the problems.
And your retirement is a call to serve at a higher level. Your end or freedom from active duties is the beginning of the fulfillment of your promise, a promise to stand up for justice. I therefore implore you that whilst you serve in your association, you guide us and help us to fix some of the ills in our society and things that have been broken or in need of repair in our country.
The story this afternoon of how poor road conditions have been leading to mass migration of residents in Mount Felix St. Thomas. The people who remain in the community are desperately appealing to the government for help.
My home there, my original home. Yeah, I have to leave that home because of no road condition, poor condition of road, you know. So we wish if we could get it a better way, there's many more people that come back in here to come live. Because a whole heap of people gone with far and broad all about. They need back this road.
Just a few weeks ago, residents were promised help after they marched on the municipal corporation. But still, many believe the authorities are too slow to act.
We can't drive to where we're supposed to go because of the condition of the road. We have to park. Look where we have to park. Over 2.5 miles from the destination that we want to go.
We there, we not no road, we not no light, we not nothing. We plant with something, we can't come out with the tire. And we want some road, we want some light and, you know, thing like that, you know. We produce out of the hills, man. Look on the road. And from my barn up so me live, me never left I go nowhere and me have to live here so.
The family and friends of 19-year-old Jaheim Williams are seeking the public's help to find him. According to reports, Jaheim was not feeling well and was on his way from Portmore to the Spanish Town Hospital. But when his father arrived at the hospital to meet his son, he was not there. The police was called and a missing person alert launched. Anyone knowing the whereabouts of Jaheim Williams is being asked to reach out to his father at 876-970-4545 or the nearest police station. And it's time now for the latest in the economy. Here's Cody Barrett with the Business Minute.
In the world of business, VM Investments' net profit increased by 39% during the second quarter ended June. The company made $242.5 million after tax versus $175 million during the same period in 2021. VM says the increase in post-tax earnings was driven by a 48% rise in other operating revenue. Consolidated revenue was $695.75 million, up from $470.5 million last year. And in business internationally, BP has reported its biggest quarterly profit for 14 years after oil and gas prices soared. The energy giant saw underlying profits hit $8.45 billion between April and June, more than triple the amount it made in the same period last year. It comes as typical household energy bills have been forecast to hit more than £3,600 a year. And that's it for the Business Minute. I'm Codianne Barrett.
Time now for the top regional and international stories with Sandy Williams.
In regional news, Governor General of the Bahamas, Sir Cornelius Smith, has tested positive for COVID-19, becoming the latest Caribbean political figure to have contracted the virus that has killed and infected thousands of people in the region. A brief press statement from the Office of the Governor General announced that Sir Cornelius contracted the disease but gave no further details. Sir Cornelius received his first dose of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine in March 2021. Senior government leaders from St. Lucia, Trinidad and Tobago, Barbados, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Belize, Bermuda and Guyana have all tested positive for the virus. On the international scene, Russia has accused the U.S. of direct involvement in the war in Ukraine for the first time. A spokesperson for Moscow's defense ministry alleged the U.S. was approving targets for American-made HIMARS artillery used by Kyiv's forces. HIMARS is a multiple rocket system which can launch precision-guided missiles at targets as far as 70 kilometers or 45 miles away, far further than the artillery that Ukraine previously had. Lieutenant Gen Igor Konashenkov said intercepted calls between Ukrainian officials revealed the link. There was no immediate comment on the allegation from U.S. officials. Russia previously accused Washington of fighting a proxy war in Ukraine. And those were the top regional and international stories. I'm Sandy Williams.
And we head to a quick break. When we come back, we'll have your midday sports report. Jermaine Brown is standing by.